Hi everybody, this is Rich of the Rich Maxwell channel. Welcome back to my channel. Today doing another video about drones, talking about the Hubsan Zino and the Mavic Air and how they compare. So going to go through the features of these two drones. I own both of them, have them both right here, and going to tell you my thoughts on them, which one I like the most and why. Obviously this video is comparing a drone that costs £900 for the Fly More combo here in the UK versus this one, which you can pick up for about a couple of £100. So it's obviously not going to be the most fair comparison. You'd of course expect the £900 drone to be a much better drone generally in terms of features and things that it can do. But yeah, just going to talk through them both anyway and give my thoughts on them, having used them both for quite a few times now. So firstly, wanted to talk about the video quality. Both of these drones film in 4K, so they both produce nice sharp video. The main difference though is this one will film at 100 megabits per second bitrate, whereas this one is only 60 megabits per second bitrate. So you'd expect this one will capture more color, more dynamic range, and also you can film in a cine-like sort of color format where when you go into post-production on Adobe Premiere or whatever editing software you use, you can bring out more colors. So the Mavic is clearly going to be better for filming video, but the Zino, it is sharp and doing 4K video, looks great. So it's certainly a good drone for shooting just general video if you want to post up on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. Next, I want to talk about the photo quality. So for photos, the Mavic Air gives you a lot more options. You can shoot in RAW format, and also you can control your shutter speed, your ISO, everything really, so you can get the right exposure, and also you can do those longer exposure shots. And so the Mavic Air is clearly going to be the better one if you want to take some good drone photos. But again, Zino will take nice photos. You'll get some quite unique perspectives. If it's your first drone, then you'll be probably quite impressed with some of the photos that you capture with it. And even though they're JPEG photos, you can still do some adjustments in Lightroom and Photoshop to make the photos look pretty good and nice and colourful. So yeah, Mavic wins again really on the photo quality. They both have gimbals, so both going to produce really nice stable videos. That's a great feature of both drones. The gimbals on both of them work perfectly. I've had no issues really with the gimbals. Apart from with the Hubsan, when it got it out of the box, initially the gimbal just didn't work at all, so I had to just do a firmware update straight away to make it work. So that was a bit frustrating. But yeah, the gimbals seem to work really well. Actually, one slight thing with the Hubsan, it doesn't always get the horizon right. It sometimes goes a bit diagonal, so maybe the Mavic has got a better gimbal, because I haven't really had the problem on the Mavic Air. So that's something to consider. A big feature that the Mavic Air has that the Zino doesn't have is obstacle avoidance. So it works really well on this drone. It's got two little cameras at the front, two at the back, and two at the bottom, so that if it's coming within, I think it's 1.5 meters of an obstacle, it will just stop altogether. So that's a great feature of the drone, and also the same if it's going downward, it will just stop rather than hit the ground or hit some obstacle. So that's a really good plus for a beginner like myself really with drones. I've only been flying drones for a month or so it makes it much easier. So that's a great benefit. The obstacle avoidance, you can turn it off, because sometimes if you want to go through a tight space, like through some trees in a forest, then it can sort of stop you doing that. Makes the drone just suddenly stop when it's quite close to a tree, obviously. But if you want to get those sorts of footage where you go through a tight gap, then you just need to turn it off, and it's obviously a bit more risky, but can get you some really cool shots. So that is a massive feature for the Mavic Air, so it's not something that the Hubsan has at all. Obviously it would be beneficial, but I think for the price of the Hubsan being only a couple of £100, they're not going to fit everything in, so that's just something that they've had to drop on that then. And next I want to talk about the flying modes. So with this one, you've got several flying modes. You've got sport mode, normal mode, and you've got your cinematic mode. The cinematic mode makes the drone fly in a much smoother way, so rather than suddenly stopping when it's braking or when you stop it, it will come to a slower stop. So also when you turn, it will turn much slower. So that can just make your footage look just really nice and smooth, really good footage. whereas the Zino, you haven't got those options at all. And it is quite sensitive, I'd say, the Zino, in terms of turning, so you've got to be a bit more careful with the sticks really if you want to get really nice smooth footage, and just a bit delicate with it, as otherwise it can just come out a bit jerky if you're just slamming it on the turns. So the Mavic wins on that again. And the size, obviously the Mavic Air is much smaller. Hopefully you can see that on the camera, but yeah, it's much more compact, and yeah, the Mavic obviously wins on that as well. And next I want to talk about accessories. For the Mavic Air, there's loads of things available. It's obviously a very popular drone, and DJI as a company, they market the drone really well. It's in all of the main shops, like electronic shops in the UK. You can get them at like Argos, Currys, and obviously on Amazon and places like that. Whereas the Zino is only really available online from mostly like Chinese websites and eBay, Amazon. And so accessory wise, there's not as much available for the Hubsan Zino. I've just recently got some filters for it. So that's my filters, which I'm going to talk about in another video. I haven't tried them out yet, as the weather's been too bad here in the UK for me to get out and fly lately. But looking at the filters, they look okay, but they just kind of stick onto the lens, and then you've got a little tool to kind of like a suction cup thing to pull them off. Whereas with the Mavic Air, filters, they just unscrew off the actual lens, so they're a much better fit on this. And also, obviously, if you're swapping and changing filters all the time, you haven't got that risk that they're going to run out of adhesive like they will on the Zino. So that's another plus for the Mavic Air. The accessories more widely available, and they just kind of fit and work better. So yeah, Mavic wins really on that. Yeah, I just want to talk about the reliability. Both drones seem to be good, reliable, solidly built drones. The Hubsan Zino, though, out of the box, I mentioned earlier, I did have an issue with the gimbal. Also had a problem with the focus being off. It was really soft, so that meant I had to pretty much take the camera apart and adjust the focus manually, which you shouldn't really have to do with a product that you've just bought. So that was a bit frustrating, but it was much better than obviously sending it back to the Chinese seller and then waiting for them to repair it and send it back or send me a new one. So it was good that I could at least fix it myself. Whereas the Mavic Air, I've had no issues out of the box, it's just worked. So the Mavic Air just seemed like it wins in terms of the reliability or build quality, however you want to put it really. And next, I'm going to talk about the app and the sort of features. So the Mavic Air app just seems to work much better. The app for the Zino, it does everything fine. The Mavic Air's got a few extra bits, like it does the more quick shot modes, like the meteorite mode, which looks really cool, turns it into a little small planet wherever you are, and is a really cool shot to take. So just showing that on screen now, one that I did the other day. And also the app with the Zino, it just seems to connect up better. So I'll put my phone into this, turn the drone on, it all connects up great. Whereas the Zino, I'll often have to just sort of turn it on and off a few times to actually get the remote, the app, and my phone all connected, which is a bit frustrating. Sometimes I've been stood there for like 5 minutes in a field, messing around, turning my drone on and off, and yeah, felt a bit stupid if there's any people looking at me. So that's another plus for the Mavic. So overall, the Mavic is the much better drone. Obviously, I've gone through all the features there, but it's about like 4 times the price, so it is a really harsh comparison comparing these two drones. I mean, the Hubsan Zino for £200, you're getting almost the same features as the Mavic Air. It's just a few minor differences really, like for photography not being able to do the shutter speeds and shooting RAW, and also no obstacle avoidance. So that's the only real differences. The 4K video still looks good on the Zino, so it'll be good enough for most people. And it's compact enough because it does fold up, so you can easily fit it in your backpack still. It's not taking up a vast amount more room than the Mavic Air. So it's still a nice small drone, and yeah, I still like it. I think it's a good drone, so I'd recommend getting it for a couple £100 if that's what your budget is for a drone. I think you'll have a superb time flying this. But if you do want to spend that bit more, then the Mavic Air is a superb drone. And the retail price at the moment, at about £950 for the Fly More kit, I think it's quite high. Now that the Mavic Mini's out, I wouldn't be surprised if they drop that down. It does seem like there's been a few offers on lately for the Mavic Air, so maybe their retail price for this will come down a bit. There's also rumoured to be the Mavic 3 coming out next year, which may knock this down a bit more on price. I luckily picked this up for a really good deal on Amazon warehouse deals at only 340 quid for the Fly More kit, so I got really lucky with that. So yeah, if you just want to spend a couple hundred quid on a drone, you won't go wrong really with the Zino. You'll be really happy with it. But if, like me, you get unlucky, you might have a couple of little things to fiddle with out the box to get it working properly. But hopefully you'll have some luck and get a drone that just works perfect out of the factory. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this comparison. So as I say, the Mavic Air, much better featured, but not really worth the extra cash. And on my channel, do talk about drones and photography equipment all the time. I've picked up some cool new things on Black Friday, including this DJI Osmo Pocket. So I'm going to be talking about that in some upcoming reviews, and also several other things as well. So please think about subscribing and watching out for more videos. So thanks for joining me. Hope you all have a great day, and see you all again soon. Bye for now.